Have you ever wondered why some people seem to build wealth little by little for decades while others work just as hard and never seem to get ahead? Most people believe the answer is a higher income, a better investment, a lucky opportunity. But according to the Bible, the biggest difference often begins long before the money arrives. It begins with a forgotten rule that quietly shapes every financial decision you make. And the surprising part is that many Christians have heard countless sermons about faith, yet they have never been taught this principle in a practical way. By the end of this video, you'll discover why this biblical wealth principle has been hiding in plain sight, why ignoring it can slowly drain your financial future without you even realizing it, and why people who apply it consistently often experience steady growth instead of endless financial cycles. Because the Bible's forgotten rule for growing wealth consistently is not about chasing more money. It is about becoming the kind of person who can faithfully multiply what is already in your hands. Think about the financial world we live in today. Everywhere you look, someone promises a shortcut. Social media celebrates overnight millionaires. Advertisements convince you that success is only one purchase away. Businesses compete for your attention every second of the day, and many people slowly develop the habit of reacting instead of thinking. They earn, they spend, they worry. Then they repeat the same cycle month after month. The strange thing is that this pattern is not always caused by a lack of income. Some people with modest salaries steadily build financial security over time. Others earn six figures and still live under constant pressure. The difference often has less to do with the size of the paycheck than with the habits guiding every decision behind it. Jesus frequently spoke about money, not because wealth itself was the highest priority, but because money reveals something deeper about the human heart. In the parable of the talents recorded in Matthew 25, the servants each received resources according to their ability. The servants who acted faithfully with what they were given were entrusted with even more. The servant who buried his talent out of fear lost the opportunity that had been placed before him. This story is often discussed as a lesson about spiritual responsibility, but it also reveals a timeless financial principle. Growth begins with faithful stewardship. Before increase comes responsibility. Before multiplication comes careful management. That order has never changed. Many people believe they need more before they can become responsible. The Bible quietly reverses that thinking. It suggests that responsibility often comes first. Imagine two business owners opening identical stores on the same street. One carefully tracks every expense, serves customers with integrity, reinvests profits wisely, learns from mistakes, and patiently improves every month. The other spends freely whenever cash comes in, avoids planning, ignores small losses because they seem insignificant, and assumes success will eventually solve every problem 5 years later. The difference between them is rarely explained by luck alone. It is usually explained by thousands of small decisions that no one noticed in the beginning. This forgotten biblical wealth principle also challenges another common belief. Many people think consistency is boring. They want dramatic breakthroughs, massive investments, instant success stories. Yet Scripture repeatedly highlights the power of diligence. Proverbs speaks often about the rewards of steady work and warns against the temptation of chasing quick gain. Wealth that grows slowly through wisdom often lasts longer than wealth gained through reckless ambition. That truth may not attract headlines, but history has quietly confirmed it again and again. Families build lasting financial stability one wise decision at a time. Businesses earn trust through years of honest service. Investors succeed because discipline survives long after excitement disappears. But here is where many people miss the deeper lesson. Stewardship is not simply about protecting money. It is about developing character. Every dollar becomes an opportunity to practice wisdom. Every financial decision trains your habits. Every season of waiting reveals whether your focus is on temporary pleasure or lasting growth. That is why biblical wealth is never presented as a formula for becoming rich overnight. Instead, it becomes the natural result of living according to principles that remain dependable even when the economy changes. And once you begin seeing money through that lens, something remarkable starts to happen. You stop asking only how much you can earn. You begin asking how faithfully you are managing what has already been entrusted to you. But this is only the beginning, because there is one overlooked habit that quietly determines whether stewardship turns into consistent financial growth or slowly falls apart. And it is a habit that many people ignore every single day without realizing the price they are paying. Most people assume financial success is built on one or two life-changing decisions. They wait for the perfect investment, the perfect business idea, the perfect market. But the Bible consistently points towards something much less dramatic and far more powerful: daily faithfulness. The forgotten rule for growing wealth consistently is not measured by what you do once. It is measured by what you choose to do over and over again when no one is watching. That is why so many people miss it. Consistency rarely feels exciting in the moment. Yet over time, it quietly becomes one of the greatest financial advantages anyone can possess. Jesus once taught that whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. The principle reaches far beyond money. It speaks to reliability, integrity, and the way a person's character is revealed through ordinary responsibilities. Imagine someone who constantly ignores small financial decisions because they seem insignificant. A subscription they forgot to cancel. Impulse purchases that feel harmless. A business expense they never bothered to review. A missed opportunity to save a small percentage of every paycheck. None of these choices appear dangerous by themselves, but together they create a pattern. And patterns shape outcomes far more than isolated events. The opposite is also true. Small acts of discipline repeated for years often produce results that seem extraordinary from the outside. This explains why biblical wealth is so closely connected to stewardship instead of accumulation. Stewardship forces you to ask different questions. Instead of asking, "How much money can I make this month?" you begin asking, "Am I using today's resources wisely?" Instead of wondering how quickly you can become wealthy, you begin asking whether your current habits deserve greater responsibility. These questions may sound simple, but they change the direction of every financial decision. They slow down emotional spending. They encourage thoughtful investing. They create room for patience in a culture obsessed with speed. Consider the farmer described throughout Scripture. A farmer cannot force tomorrow's harvest by worrying harder today. The field responds to faithful work performed season after season. Seeds are planted before results are visible. The soil is cared for long before fruit appears. There are weeks when nothing seems to change, yet beneath the surface growth is already taking place. Money often follows a remarkably similar pattern. People who build lasting wealth usually spend years making decisions that appear almost invisible. They budget when no one applauds them. They continue learning while others chase shortcuts. They reinvest profits instead of immediately upgrading their lifestyle by the time others notice their success. The real work has already been happening for a very long time. There is another biblical principle that many overlook because it feels too ordinary. Proverbs repeatedly praises diligence while warning against laziness and reckless haste. That does not mean working endlessly without rest. It means approaching your work with consistency and purpose. Whether you own a business, manage a household, build investments, or simply earn a paycheck, excellence compounds. People begin trusting those who consistently deliver value. Customers return. Employers notice reliability. Opportunities multiply because trustworthy people naturally attract greater responsibility. Wealth often follows trust long before it follows talent. But perhaps the greatest obstacle to applying this forgotten rule is comparison. It has never been easier to compare your financial life with someone else's highlight reel. Every day you see luxury cars, expensive vacations, fast-growing businesses, and overnight success stories. The temptation is to believe you are falling behind. Yet comparison quietly destroys stewardship because it shifts your attention away from what God has placed in your own hands. In the parable of the talents, each servant received a different amount. None of them were judged against each other. Each was evaluated according to what they did with what they personally received. That detail changes everything. Faithfulness is never measured by someone else's opportunities. It is measured by your response to your own. When people finally understand this, their relationship with money begins to change. They stop chasing appearances and start building foundations. They become less concerned with looking wealthy and more concerned with becoming financially stable. They discover that peace often arrives before abundance, because financial wisdom removes many of the fears created by constant impulsive decisions. Slowly, month after month, year after year, the forgotten biblical rule begins producing something far greater than a larger bank account. It produces confidence, discipline, patience, and a mindset capable of handling greater opportunities when they finally arrive. But there is still one question that remains unanswered. If these biblical principles have existed for thousands of years, why do so many intelligent and hardworking people continue missing them? The answer lies in one subtle mistake that quietly sabotages financial growth before it ever has the chance to multiply. And that final lesson may be the most important one of all. The subtle mistake is this: many people believe wealth is something they own. The Bible repeatedly points to a different perspective. Everything ultimately belongs to God. We are temporary stewards of the resources placed in our hands. That single shift in thinking changes almost every financial decision. When money becomes a possession, fear usually follows. Fear of losing it, fear of not having enough, fear of someone getting ahead. But when money becomes a responsibility, wisdom begins to replace fear. Every dollar becomes a tool instead of a trophy. Every opportunity becomes a chance to create value instead of simply consuming more. That mindset does not remove financial challenges. It changes the way you respond to them.